Hi guys, this is Preeti and welcome back in another episode of Heirloom Handloom by Son Chiraiya. So today we are in Delhi with someone very special who is a patron of Indian art and textiles and a trustee in Kisan Trust. Welcome Charuji.
Thank you.
So Charuji, what does the word heirloom means to you and how the meaning has evolved over the years with the textile and the objects you inherit or live with over the years?
An heirloom piece for me is anything of beauty that we cherish. Um, when we were younger, heirlooms were usually just pieces of jewelry that you got from your mother or your grandparents, or later as we got married, our in laws. But let me retrace. Actually, for us, when we were growing up, see, I'm a daughter of refugee parents. So when my nani would give me a pair of earrings, it had a lot of significance because this is a lady who had lost everything, in the
Yes.
partition, had built herself up. So it was a very cherished piece. But as I, grew older, had more exposure, more maturity, I developed a keen interest in a lot of other things as well, like furniture and decor and Indian art and Indian handicrafts and Indian textiles. So there are so many things that I call heirlooms today simply because they represent a technique I admire, or it's a craft which is, enduring for very long, or it is just something that holds a emotive memory for me.
That is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, what I'm wearing today is an heirloom for me because it has come to me from my mother-in-law, and it has been with me for so many years, and she would have enjoyed it for many years before that. So yeah.
And every sari has a story, and I'm
Every
sure.
sari has its story. In fact, in my house, when you walk around, there are so many things. Even the furniture has a story. There are things that my mother-in-law and my father-in-law would have got made maybe 30, 40 years ago that were passed down to us. And I have restored them or repolished them, and I'm using them or repurposing them. In fact, there's a modern heirloom that I should tell you about. When my husband and I first got married, we bought a bed. You know how it was kind of customary back in the
Yes,
day, आप
yes,
शादी के बाद अपना bedroom का set
yes.
या दिया जाता था
दिया
एक तरीके
जाता.
से. तो वो एक bedroom set हमने choose किया था और बहुत साल use किया. And then I felt कि okay, we'll move on to something else, but it was special. So I
Special.
stored it
Yeah.
and I looked after it. When my elder daughter grew up and she was about 14 or 15, it was reupholstered for her.
Oh.
She used it for a few years. Then, when my younger daughter got her own room, in fact, today she is using that bed.
Wow.
So I get so much joy every time I walk into the room because I remember, it brings back the memory of my
Memory.
husband and I buying it together, and it's still with us. So that is a sort of a modern day heirloom in my house
Yeah.
today.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think? What are the features and qualities that makes a piece a heirloom piece? Like it's the emotional value. Or
First and foremost has to be the story about its acquisition. How did it come into my family? That bed was important because it was associated with a new phase in my life, my marriage. But there are so many other memories. For instance, there's a sari I was very fond of because I bought it with my first paycheck.
oh,
So I enjoyed it for many years. After that, both my daughters have worn it. In fact, I parted with it very, very recently because one of us was wearing it and it caught somewhere, it got a little tear, so it wasn't usable anymore. But yes, first and foremost is the circumstances within which we become to be associated with that piece. Then, of course, there are things like technique.
techniques. Yes, yes.
There is a story. Your Kota saris are heirloom pieces because there's a whole community that is sort of prospering because
Yes.
people are patronizing it. There's also, of course, um, whether we like it or not, the price worthiness is also a factor.
Yes. So, do you think saris have a space as a they are seen as a heirloom pieces in the contemporary homes?
Um, I do believe that They are, by many families, they are. But there is a large section in the cosmopolitan cities that might be moving away from thinking of our saris as
The
heirloom
heirloom
pieces.
pieces,
Yeah.
yes.
So we do need to kind of reinvent ourselves and remarket ourselves to the younger generation, to
Yeah.
the cosmopolitan cities, so that, you know, that perception remains strong going forward.
So, can you share some memory in a sari which has been passed down to you and some emotional value it
Oh,
holds?
there are too many. I have saved everything that my mother in law has given me, or I have inherited, everything that my mother has given me. So there are many special pieces. Um, okay, there is a sari my mother hand painted
Oh wow,
and
that's
hand embroidered. So that remains special to me. And in fact, I'm planning to wear it later this week.
super.
Yeah,
And how
yeah.
you're planning to pass these saris to the next generation, especially your daughters?
I'm very fortunate that my daughters are very interested in saris and they already wear them.
Wow.
So I would now, so they have worn many of my inherited pieces and even the pieces that I have bought myself. I am planning maybe early next year to take them to buy their own first saris because
That's a
they have
nice
been
idea.
wearing mine up till now.
None. They should
So,
start
yeah.
something like
Their own
an own
collection. Yeah,
collection.
what
And
works for them at their age, and
yes.
they can build upon it in the years to come.
So, in your heirloom pieces, do you have any quota in that?
I do actually. I have a lovely leafy green kota. I was looking at it some days back, and it's also got a lovely gold zari to it. Um, and of course, I have other kotas that friends and family may have gifted to me on occasions over the
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
So I think this one that I'm describing was part of my wedding trousseau.
Super. Yeah, I think these saris were the part of wedding trousseau
Yeah,
and also
yeah,
very interesting value and
yeah.
being the real zari and all the things these saris have. So that should be the part of trousseau for an Indian bride.
True.
Then I'll come to UP. I think Uttar Pradesh has.
No, let's talk about that. You had said something about the family's contribution. We can talk about that.
Uttar Pradesh has a layered legacy when it comes to handloom, folk stories, traditions. How do you see that? How your family is contributing to reviving and sustaining these techniques.
You're right. UP has a very, very rich and very interesting legacy. And there are so many things that not many people are aware of. Of course, the most obvious ones that come to mind are the chikankari and the Banarsi weaves, which fortunately are shining even today. There is also a very nice, beautiful thing about UP, which is the street food.
It is, yes.
Yeah. So, you have your मथुरा के ये
पेड़े.
पेड़े हैं,
Yes.
आगरा का पेठा है.
पेठा.
इनफैक्ट आप मुजफ्फरनगर की हैं
I'm
एंड
also from
या
UP.
ऑर्डिनरली लोग सोचते हैं कि मुजफ्फरनगर में अगर जाएं तो गन्ने का जूस पिएं.
हाँ.
ऑफ कोर्स वो तो है ही,
हाँ.
बट आई वाज वेरी प्लेजेंटली सरप्राइज्ड व्हेन आई हैड द चाट.
Gold market chart.
Yes, Chandbali and all those
Chandbali
people.
chart,
Yeah, it may have been the best chart I've had. So, music as well, there are so many big names. There is, there's a very interesting person I came across. I think I should share for the benefit of your viewers. There's a person I came across, Ras Khan naam tha unka. He was born into a Muslim family in Mathura, but he was so influenced and he became a devout bhakt of Krishna Bhagwan. फिर उन्होंने पोएट्री लिखनी शुरू करी इन ब्रज भाषा.
Super.
एंड ही बिकेम नोन फॉर हिज पोएट्री. रस खान एक्चुअली उनका वो है, पेन नेम है, ओरिजिनल नाम उनका कुछ और था. सो देर आर सो मेनी सच इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरीज दैट कम फ्रॉम यूपी. And of course, our family has done their part. My grandfather-in-law, Chaudhry Charan Singh Ji, he was, everybody knows, he devoted his entire life toward the cause of uplifting the cause of rural income,
Yes, rural development they have.
Yes,
and
very
farmers.
focused on agriculture. But he was also very focused on cottage industries and the handloom sector. When he was the Union Finance Minister, I think it was 79 or 80, he may have been one of the first few to make a provision in the budget for the handloom industry and also the cooperatives to improve the wages of the workers.
That is, people might not be aware of this.
Many people would not be aware. Yes, he is well known for his other policies. This is a little known, unknown fact about him. Even my father-in-law, Chaudhry Ajit Singh, was very well aware with the problems that the weavers face. He organized many different conferences, like weavers conferences at the district level, state level, even national level. And he, I remember in 2010, even met the then textiles minister, Baghela ji, and presented a memorandum. He led a delegation of weavers, and they presented a memorandum about their problems and what can be done to resolve them and to improve the earnings of the weavers.
So major role they have played.
Sorry?
Major role they have played.
They have contributed. My husband, who is currently the skill minister, has also spearheaded, training of artisans, almost I think upwards of 4.5 lakh artisans from the
UP?
handloom sector across. Yeah, handloom sector, carpet weaving industry, other artisans, and providing them with proper certification as well.
Wow, that is something.
And in our personal life also, my grandfather-in-law was famous for only wearing khadi.
Yes.
And my father-in-law only wore cotton. So, of course, that influence has percolated to the next generation. We do patronize our handloom fabrics. Within our home, there is a lot of Indian art and aesthetic all around. You will find brassware that I have inherited or picked up from local artisans. You will find our terracotta. You will find the Kachki embroidery. All these things are part of our life. In a small way, we try to keep these, things going.
But a lot of you guys are contributing and, doing.
It comes from an interest.
Yes.
And you have to lead by example. If the parents, I do believe that if my husband and I show this interest and, partiality towards our handicrafts and our way of life to our next generation, that is the only way it will go forward.
Yes.
So we try to make it a part of our daughter's life,
So good to know about all this.
I'm glad.
Enjoying the conversation, really frankly speaking. So Charuji, someone who is closely involved in the cultural space of UP, where do you see the future of Indian handloom, and are we as a collector contributing to its continuity?
So there is no denying that it is a slightly difficult time because power looms are taking over in a very big way. This affects the inclination of the next generation to take up the craft. So the only way forward, I think, is to contemporize whatever is coming out of our handlooms.
Yes.
See, you and I enjoy our saris, but maybe the next generation isn't going to wear them as often as we did.
Yes.
Something simple as bringing our hand-woven textiles into home furnishings, I think, has been a very good step.
Definitely.
So we need to find other ways of incorporating these hand-woven fabrics into the contemporary life.
Yes.
Perhaps the way you and I are living might not be the way our children. Or the next generation will live.
Yes.
So what will interest them should be what guides people like the designers or big retailers, so that the handloom industry doesn't die out.
Definitely. Other than the products which we make, like saris, we should contribute in making some home furnishing, as you suggested.
Perhaps, yeah.
And something maybe a modern, silhouette also.
I wanted to suggest the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be making silhouettes that the children are going to be interested in.
Yes. Lately, I've been seeing a lot, designers are coming in. We have also done the interesting pantsuits, which can be the part of our international platforms also.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Such a beautiful thing.
So this recent association of Prada with Kolhapuri chappals was very good, but I also felt a bit saddened that we needed someone like a Prada to put our chappals on the world map. It should come from our designers and our big box retailers and our patrons. But I'm glad it's happening. whatever
think-
the route may be.
I think we need to embrace our thing.
Embrace the change and embrace the fact that the younger generation wants to perhaps dress a little differently, you know.
Yeah.
So
So Charuji, is there any special method or technique how you keep these pieces and how you store them, especially when we talk about
So I'm
sarees?
very glad you've asked this because I really don't know what the best way of taking care of my saris is. I do make an effort to change the fold if I have not
That is
worn a
important,
piece in a
yeah.
while.
Uh-huh.
As well as for the shawls, I make an effort to change the fold. But I wanted to suggest that, you know, you do a like a blog or a tutorial to guide people like me on how best to take care of our saris. Most of us don't know.
So generally either we roll them, that is the
You
best
roll them, yeah.
best practice, but nowadays with lesser space in some places we can actually fold them, and as you rightly said, keep changing the fold. Keep the saris away from moistures, and especially with the real zari, like how you take care of the jewelry, no direct perfumes and all these things, the basic things, not very high maintenance, but that's how
True.
but definitely, as you said, I'll try to make a vlog or something on
Yeah,
that.
I'll look out for it. So, what do you use to make the roll? What
It's
is
a
the pipe
actually
inside?
so it is a wooden roll. On that you need to roll the saris
Acha.
and put like this.
And
the
where,
vertic-
so where do I buy a roll like this?
I haven't bought it. I got it done from the carpenter only.
Oh, okay.
हाँ जनरली इनको एक के ऊपर एक भी नहीं रखते हैं हम लोग, स्पेशली जरी प्रेस होके फोल्ड का डर रहता है.
यही एक चैलेंज मुझे लग रहा है.
हाँ
I also wanted to ask you, अक्सर ना पड़े पड़े ही sometimes I take out something which I haven't worn for a long time and I spot stain आ गया है.
इसलिए दिखता है आपको.
हाँ.
हाँ ये होता है. I think with moisture a lot of factors involved. So better कि maybe a carpenter.
And what is the shelf life actually?
Actually, if I talk about a kota sari, if you take care nicely, it can be 30-40 years, maybe more also. And yeah, depends
How you have maintained them?
single tissues or something can go up to 50-60 years
Oh, wow.
easily. Yeah. I mean, we have redone someone's sari. We received as a fragment. She was getting married, and we have redone it again in kota. So it was, I think, 150-year-old sari. Our great grandmothers.
Because a lot of my mom's old pieces now, my mom doesn't wear saris now. She said, you know, you see what you want to do with them, but
Yeah, I know.
उधर ही गए, like खींचने में ही फट रहे.
What you can do as a memory, frame them as a design archival.
That's a lovely idea. Yeah.
So I did some of them, like in the wall partition in my home. I planned a kota sari with paintings. Some beautiful designs.
I have been seeing इसमें कलमकारी पे handwork करके frame करके people are using as wall decor.
Yeah. Even kalamkari ka tree of life looks very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes, these are the things. There are many ways. I
Yeah.
think.
That is the most
best
important
idea.
thing going
Yeah, framing
forward.
is the best idea. That's how you can.
Do your what do you call them? Vlog. Yeah, do one on this also. Repurposing of old sarees.
Repurposing.
Hai na?
I will do that. That's a nice idea.
Yeah.
So Charuji, what was the first sari you saw your mother or grandmother or mother-in-law wearing? Do you reach out to that piece still today for comfort and strength, emotional value?
So I don't have any memory of a first sari simply because my grandmother only wore saris. So I have not seen her in anything but a sari. My mother also, you know, it was a very routine part of her wardrobe. But I do have a very distinct memory of admiring her get ready in her saris and her bindi and, you know, just that lovely Indian way of getting ready. And maybe my love for saris may have come from watching them, you know, enjoy their saris and look so beautiful in them. And I hope I inspire my daughters to wear them simply by wearing them.
Definitely.
So I may sometime be in the mood for a certain color and look for that color in my wardrobe. I also enjoy concepts that maybe if I have seen somebody wear. For instance, I really enjoyed seeing your kotas with the Paithani borders. That stuck in my mind.
Thank
So
you.
for me, now that is something I will look to add to my wardrobe. So I'm more driven by concepts, you know. There will be days I only want to wear a nice, beautiful traditional sarees, and there will be days I'll only be looking for a nice, glamorous chiffon. So it really depends on my mood, you know. What do I feel like wearing that day? Yeah.